Okazuje się, że wraca, żeby się zemścić ta Astro Toaleta, która walczyła z G-Manem. Zapraszam bardzo serdecznie, zostawcie lajka, będzie mi bardzo miło, subskrybujcie kanał po więcej i zaczynamy nowe przecieki, nowe informacje. Iron Camera. No właśnie, było tu dużo rzeczy. A nie było tak dużo, nie było tak dużo informacji w tym wywiadzie. Ja się zastanawiam, czemu dalej przecieków nie mamy, nie?
While we are waiting for the new episode. By the way, at the very end of the video, I will even tell you all the official information about part 2 of 77 episode, so be sure to watch till the end. And don't
czyli będą tutaj informacje o
forget to
77.
subscribe and put like, because
Okej,
only
to mi się
25%
podoba,
of my
słuchajcie.
viewers are
To mi się
subscribed to me.
podoba.
Let's make up for it. And
Dobra,
some Astro toilets currently exist,
Przejdźmy do
and
rzeczy,
what
a
further
nie.
development they might have. Let's start with common Skibidi toilets. Judging by the fact that even with the advent of the firearms analog, agents only shoot at the eyes of Skibidi toilets. They are practically bulletproof. Their first variation is to change the toilet to another object, such as a urinal or bathtub. At first glance, this variation has no practical use. However, such mimicry can be used both for a surprise attack from an
Okej, czyli tutaj mówi o tej ewolucji toalet, tak?
object
Okej.
that the agents do
Jestem
not
ciekaw,
perceive
co
as a
on
threat,
powie na ten
and for
temat.
withdrawal from the battlefield with subsequent camouflage. The second is size. We have seen both huge and small Skibidi toilets,
No tak.
parasites that can be categorized as a separate species. They are also divided into small ones, taking control of agents, and large ones designed for titans. They also have a helicopter-like propeller for vertical mobility, otherwise they wouldn't even have a chance to reach the titan's vulnerable to hit area on the back of his head. Next comes the triple toilet, one of
Potrójna toaleta to jest kultowa, słuchajcie, nie? Pamiętacie ją?
which even grew horns.
Demon.
This variety is effective exactly until one or two of the Skibidi toilets are eliminated, causing the mobility of the others to decrease, since dead toilets don't move. Also, not to be forgotten, is the Hydra.
Hydra,
the
no o
multi-headed-
Jezu, to było też niezłe, jak oglądaliśmy te shorty. Pamiętacie te czasy, jak shorty wychodziły prawie codziennie? Ja cię widzę, że to było coś.
toilet. It
Yeah.
no longer has this disadvantage. So if one head is lost, the Hydra continues to pose a complete threat. However, all heads can be eliminated by normal flushing. Next are the Skibidi toilets from the scientist's lab. Invulnerable to fire, but not to the pain of it.
Oni tutaj chyba jakby chcieli, żeby była ta ewolucja tych toalet.
But
Mutanty
effectively
ich
resist
przemieniali.
both the orange radiation of the TV men and the flamethrowers of the cameramen, as well as advancing and retreating directly into open fire. Then there's the big-headed Skibidi toilet in the small toilet. Probably due to the increased mass of his head relative to the toilet bowl, he is practically unable to move around. After that, the skeleton.
Szkielety, to jest dziwne
what's
zupełnie.
dead can't die. Bear skull, due to the lack of skin, is immune to pain, and as a consequence, to flame and acid.
To wtedy może być odporna na kwas, nie? I ogień.
Also, due to the lack of eyes, it does not need protection from radiation from TV men. However, probably due to the lack of skin, his overall survivability is reduced compared to a whole Skibidi toilets. We've also seen regular Skibidi toilets deprived of
Frankenstein, nie? Skibidi
in a rather
toilet.
clumsy way. Replacing them were agents' cameras. These were designed against TV men and speaker men, however, when all cameras are disabled, mounted outside and therefore unprotected, they lose their combat capability. A common variation of all Skibidi toilets is any modification
No
with
to jest
additional
dopiero,
limbs
nie?
such as arms and legs, simple striders and sharp ones like the scientist, weapons, be they saws, missiles, lasers, or
No dużo
acid,
jest tych
agents'
różnych
tech and
Skibidi
equipment,
toilet, trzeba
the jetpack,
przyznać.
for example. And finally, hybrids, not to be confused with mutants. Hybrids combine the toilet with the agent's body, so they retain his appearance, pants, shirt, tie, suit, as well as flat robotic arms and body. Mutants, on the other hand, have pronounced musculature, as well as any costume that agents don't wear. Mutants are an improved version of hybrids.
No, to jest... Trzeba przyznać, że to będzie tak. Skibidi, zwykłe, hybrydy Potem mutanty, nie? A potem ciekawe, czy coś jest na końcu. Kto jest końcowym etapem ewolucji.
Used bodies of agents, which the Skibidi toilets needed to find intact, as they do not have the parts to repair them, nor the proper knowledge and skills to do so. Hence why any critical damage to the body would have to be replaced in its entirety. Mutants, on the other hand, with their humanoid bodies, do not have these problems, and also, as we see with the muscular exhibitionist, can have much larger and more powerful bodies. An amusing consequence of this variation is that mutants can probably reproduce like normal humans. The pinnacle of Skibidi Toilet's evolution, though, is G-Man Toilet.
Tak myślicie, że G-Man to jest ewolucja, szczyt ewolucji? No ale tu wracamy do tego, co... Nie, no moim zdaniem
Despite
nie.
being stripped of Astro's powers, as evidenced by the lost red color of his eyes, he has retained their survivability and lasers. He is essentially an intermediate variant between a Skibidi toilet and an Astro toilet. Among the Astros themselves, we've seen conventionally simple fighters and elite fighters, which can include UFO and Duchess for their high rank and lasers. Juggernaut and Scorpion, however, are most likely an in-between. That is, they are higher than ordinary soldiers, as can be seen by their rank and equipment, but lower than elite ones. The
No ale to UFO dowodzi tym wszystkim, to jest ciekawe, nie?
evolution or upgrade of each of the above species is a multiplication of their basic traits, be it the number of heads on a Hydra, the power and number of weapons on a soldier, and so on. Interestingly, one of the Astros, having lost its head, showed further signs of life activity, just like the iconic something
właśnie.
from the 1982 movie of the same name,
To chyba na tym się wzorowali, nie?
which may be both a reference and canon. Consider the second case, referring to the source material. In it, the something is a highly evolved alien life form that assimilates others on a cellular level, acquiring all of its skills, memories, and
Ciekawe to jest, nie?
All
Jak
it
to
takes is the
wytłumaczyć.
ingestion of a victim's secretions, such as blood, saliva, and the like, to infect them. The parallels with the Skibidi toilets are self-explanatory. A highly advanced alien life form, the Skibidi toilets, or Astro toilets, assimilate local life forms, humans, turning them into their own kind using the simplest method of infection. We've also seen infected humans, just like the something, destroyed by fire. Perhaps Dafuk is thus giving us a fat hint as to the true nature of the Astro toilets and their motives. They destroy humans and Skibidi toilets as a primitive life form from which they have nothing to take.
Może się boją po prostu, że namnoży się tyle Skibidi Toalet, że będą w stanie pokonać Astro,
And
nie?
the purpose of their expansion, i.e. taking over new worlds, is the same search for the genes, knowledge, and skills of other civilizations that will make them even more powerful. And although this theory sounds interesting, at the moment it remains just a theory that requires further confirmation.
No dowiemy
which we
się w później, nie? W późniejszych etapach, bo tam Boom powiedział,
only wait for.
o co w tym
And what
wszystkim
about
chodzi.
Astro's plan, also mentioned by the UFO in his conversation with Duchess? It is important to note that Dafuk also confirmed Astro's preliminary preparations to invade Earth. This means that they have a plan in case the main threat, the Titans, cannot be eliminated. What might that be?
Ciekawe co zrobią, nie? Może mają swojego Tytana, nie?
If the Titans can't be eliminated, then they need to deprive them of repairs and upgrades, for which they will have to destroy
No bazę pewnie kamer zniszczą, bo wiedzą gdzie
all
one
the
są.
bases of all three Alliance factions. The Astro toilets probably don't have this information, as we've only seen 2 breakthroughs by Skibidi toilets in the entire series, probably on the same cameraman's base. The first time Titan cameraman was there
No
for
baza
repairs
kamer
and
jest, po
upgrades,
prostu
and the
wiedzą
second
gdzie
time
jest,
he
nie?
flew in to retake
To
it
jest problem.
almost as soon as the Skibidi toilets approached it. And since its location is known to the Skibidi toilets,
No
it is
właśnie.
also known to Astro toilets, hence it will be attacked soon.
No
However,
właśnie.
it is unknown how many bases each faction has set up to repair and upgrade their Titans.
No ale
There
Stevie Manów bazę mogą też tam znać miejsce, no bo skądś mają te księgi TV
was no
Manów, nie?
strategic need for a large number of such bases previously, as field upgrades were developed, delivered directly to the Titans on the battlefield, without the need to return to the base. But full repairs and upgrades can only be accomplished at the base. Perhaps it is there, at the cameraman's base, that we will see Cameraman Titan returning for repairs and upgrades, as well as Astro's attack, in future parts of episode
No to jest
77.
problem, słuchajcie, bo
However,
jak Astro znają lokalizację bazy, to Tytan kamera tam nie może zostać naprawiony, bo przecież
since the
zniszczą
TV
go.
men see and hear everything the cameramen do, they, including TV Titan, can come to the aid of their comrades. In the event of inevitable defeat, TV man Titan will teleport away again, taking cameraman Titan with him. However,
No nie
Astro's
wiem.
preparations must also include setting up a base, which is where Scorpion got his repairs after episode 60. But
No
isn't
muszą
it
mieć jakiś
odd
przyczółek,
that
tak? Gdzie
agents
będą się
regaining
naprawiać
control of
Astro.
completely different
To
regions
się
over the
zgadza.
course of the series never found her? Not if you remember what kind of enemy they're dealing with. The Astros, who possess high technology and can travel incredibly fast over vast distances by hyperjump. With all this in mind, there is an out-of-reach territory for the Alliance that is within walking distance for the Astro, and that's the Moon. The same means that once the Alliance regains control of Earth, we will see battles in outer space as well as on the Moon. I also want to flesh out Dafook's answer to why the Astros haven't attacked before. As I said in the first breakdown, the decision to invade was made right after the defeat of the Skibidi Toilets, which UFO reported in Season 23. This is indicated by its first appearance back in Episode 53. What else could the Astros have sent one small officer armed with a small gun for other than reconnaissance? Also, judging by the fact that he turned around upon Scorpion's arrival, he wasn't talking to him. One could assume that he had contacted the Juggernaut for reinforcements in case G-Man's execution didn't go according to plan. However, who then reported the need for an invasion to command? And why wasn't the Juggernaut in Episode 60? Speaking of G-Man, why was he retried to be eliminated? The fact is that by capturing him, the Alliance would have learned strategically important information
No może przez to chcieli go unieszkodliwić, żeby właśnie Sojusz nie dostał tych
about
informacji,
their
nie?
invasion of Earth. The
Rzeczywiście,
location of
można
the
też
captured
tak na to
planets,
patrzeć.
battle strategy, weaponry, and Astro's adversaries who could potentially become allies of the Alliance. In that case, the Alliance would have retaliated against Astro sooner or later. If the Astro Toilets had not invaded immediately after the conflict with the Skibidi Toilets ended, the Alliance would have devoted the freed-up resources to bolstering their defenses, agents, and Titans, making them even stronger, resulting in the Astros needing significantly more forces for a later invasion.
No to
Once
ma,
again,
to ma
the goal
sens,
of the
nie? Co on
Skibidi
mówi.
Toilets, i.e. Astro traitors exiled to Earth as cannon fodder, was to scout the battlefield for a subsequent crushing blow to Astro. But things didn't go according to plan due to the secret agent's interference. What kind of interference, you ask? From Dafook's response, we learn that the Astros have taken over many planets. Such a threat should be known to all civilizations bordering them, so they should take countermeasures to avoid taking over their own worlds. Based on what we have seen in the series, there are two most effective measures. The first is an alliance of numerous civilizations united against Astro in a single interstellar alliance. The second is the secret agent. I have already said that he possesses technologies, the high level of which clearly does not correspond to the Earth's. Moreover, we have not seen them in anyone but him.
To może sekretny agent właśnie jest takim obrońcą światów, nie?
Even their color is different from any used by the Alliance. If the secret agent was working for the government, we'd see at least a whole network of similar agents, not just one person. But what makes him so special? As you know, the only reliable way to protect against infection by Skibidi is to replace virtually the entire human body with robotic parts. How would the secret agent, who has never encountered such a thing before,
Co, sekretny agent też jest mutantem?
know this long before the Skibidi Toilets and Astro Toilets showed up? After all, from the time he was appointed administrator of Alpha Hills in 79 to the discovery of the first energy, the cameramans in 85, a full 6 years had passed. Combining the two theories, we get a complete picture in which the energy and agents were developed by some of the first civilizations to encounter Astro. Then the Interstellar Alliance was created. However, its forces were not enough to defeat Astro, but since we don't see many of them on Earth, the Interstellar Alliance didn't lose. Then, in an attempt to counter Astro's
Ej, to chyba aż za bardzo taka teoria dziwna, nie?
expansion,
Co on
they
mówi?
began sending an agent to each planet that was a potential Astro's target. One of them is our secret agent. This explains how he knew about Astro
No
before.
to okej, to by mogło być, że on jest takim wysłannikiem, który chce obronić
How he got the
planetę.
agent technology to counter them, and his green glow agent technology. Presumably, green is precisely the color of the Interstellar Alliance. Lastly, let me give some information about the next parts of episode 77. Unfortunately, at the time of writing this script, there is no release date information yet. However, we do have official information from Dafuk Boom regarding the epicness of each part of the 77th episode. Who doesn't know there will only be 4 of them, and Russian YouTuber NoCap, who does fan animations, asked him, which part of episode 77 is the most epic? Dafuk Boom replied that parts 3 and 4. It turns out the next part will be about
Okej, 3 i 4. No to kurde, dawaj dwójkę teraz,
the same
boom.
as
Co
the
robisz?
first.
Czemu
Not
dwójki
very
nie ma?
epic, but interesting in its own way. By the way, we should not forget that today's video can be said to be an additional dissection of the interview.
No zobaczymy.
So if you haven't watched the original
Zobaczymy jak to będzie.